soccer team battled against Stanford in a tough game.
Buff fans cheering at the ASU at Folsom Field.
And volleyball took on the two Washington teams, Washington and Washington State. The CU Sports Mag starts now.
Hello and welcome to this week's Sports Mag. I'm Audra Streetman, sitting alongside Derek Kessinger. And Derek, it was another tough loss for the CU football team.
It really was. The atmosphere was in Folsom Field last night, but it did not translate onto the field, especially in the second half. Let's look at what happened. The Colorado Buffaloes went into the locker room with momentum down only 3 against Arizona State, but failed to score for the remaining 30 minutes. The ESPN Buffalo game against the Sun Devils was fueled by the crowd's energy. As time expired in the first half, Will Oliver hit a field goal off 2 fumbles to add to the Buffs' 2 touchdowns. However, Arizona State's Rasad Ross returned the second half kickoff for 103 yards and the touchdown. From that point, the Sun Devils took over, running the score up to 51 points. They had 593 total yards with 332 in the air. For the Buffs, they managed just 255 yards and a humbling 75 on the ground. So looking at that final score, 51 for Arizona State, 17 for the Colorado. Kelly was 20 for 28 with 308 yards and 5 touchdowns. Grice had 5 receptions, 101 yards and 3 touchdowns. On the Buff side, Jordan Webb was 20 for 41, 180 yards and 1 touchdown. And Nick Casa, the tight end, was really the star of the game. He had 4 receptions, 71 yards and 1 touchdown. Let's see what they had to say after the game.
We've got to find a way to put 2 halves together. I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy where we are offensively. Just that we weren't able to do some things offensively. That's probably the most disappointing, and the kickoff, because that was, we talked about how important that first play was going to be. I'm proud of how they compete and how they fight, and I really do believe they don't look at the scoreboard.
Speaking of last Thursday night's game, it's time for today's trivia question. Before last night's game, when was the last time CU hosted a Thursday night primetime game on ESPN? Mull it over and we'll have the answer later in the show.
CU athletes in the GLBTQ Resource Center held an event earlier this week to strengthen ties between sports and the LGBT community. Founder of Athlete Ally Hudson Taylor spoke to students and faculty about his campaign and what they can do to become an ally.
There's this wonderful notion that sports should be a space for everybody, that it shouldn't matter if you're young or old or tall or short or gay or straight. If you can run fast and throw far, you should be able to play.
I founded this nonprofit called Athlete Ally, dedicated to educating and empowering these straight allies in sports to speak out against homophobia and transphobia.
Tonight, students realize that the little things matter, that there is a history that you all are constantly creating with everything you say and do, and that there's a real opportunity to leave a legacy that makes our campuses and our locker rooms better than when we got here.
Speaking up about something you believe in doesn't change who you are or change your fan base. It just makes you a better person.
It's so important the role allies can play, and it's such a good reminder that everyone can play a part just by speaking up and voicing their concerns if they hear people around them using homophobic language or treating anyone as less than them.
My job in all of this is to help you have a voice in whatever way you feel you can. And so I really encourage you, if it's about Athlete Ally or anything, reach out to me because I would love to help you make a difference.
Coming up, Sean Espinoza and Scott Oberto break the football game down against ASU.
Also, the volleyball team faced off against Washington and Washington State. See how they fared up next.
Next year, she helped convict 90 drug dealers, seize several tons of crack and marijuana, and close down 10 major drug operations. She is a 60-year-old grandmother named Irma. She set up a community drug watch that is not only changing her neighborhood, but its future. There are many ways to help in your community. Call the Points of Light Foundation. Do something good. Feel something real.
Lewis and Clark, great explorers. Hi, I'm Thomas Jefferson. Would you check out the West for me? Oh, sure. And they take their keelboat up the Missouri. Oh, Buffalo. Then they built Fort Mandan. There at 1804. Made some friends along the way. I'm Sacagawea. Through the Columbia Gorge.
There are tons of ways to help with your kids' learning. Find the really good ones on connectforkids.org.
The sweet Pacific Ocean! Yeah!
Mom!
What?
You can't find Ichabod.
What?
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, how was your weekend? Oh, have you studied for jogging? Oh, yeah.
Pay attention. It matters.
Well, I wouldn't say it was an exciting football game last night, but the Buffs did take the field and play.
That's right. Sports Mag's Sean Espinoza and Scott Oberto took to Double Team to analyze the matchup. Take it away.
Welcome to the Double Team set. I'm Scott Oberto. Alongside with me is Sean Espinoza, and we're here talking about the CU ASU football game that unfortunately ended in a loss 51-17. So, Sean, what did you think of the game?
You know, I think that Colorado had a great start in the first half, you know, for two reasons. I think ASU was playing like a very undisciplined team, as well as Colorado was finally in sync on offense and defense, you know, as well as our special teams. Our defense was keeping ASU at a comfortable range, and our offense, you know, scoring 17 points in the second quarter and putting us in 10 points within ASU going into the half was a great thing. Our special teams also had a blocked extra point field goal, as well as causing ASU to fumble on a kick return. I think it's unfortunate we couldn't hang on to that. It really looked like CU was here to play Pac-12 football.
Yeah,
so we thought.
Yeah, I think that fumble that we got going into the first quarter really gave us a bunch of momentum. We were really pumped up going into the second half. Unfortunately, ASU got that touchdown after the punt return, which really, I think, just killed our momentum, definitely. After that, it just seemed like our defense couldn't get back on track. Our offense seemed out of sync, throwing behind players. Our running game wasn't on either. We tried a couple of reverse plays that just didn't end up working. And as well, ASU, like you said, they just became a lot more disciplined. They didn't really turn the ball over. They were making minimal mistakes, and they were not letting Jordan Webb throw the ball with a lot of time. In addition to that, we had that fumble in the fourth quarter that we tried to run back, but unfortunately the refs, they called it back just because he thought the player was down. It was just a huge misunderstanding, and it really, I think, just killed our team, and that was our chance to come back. And it was just unfortunate that it wasn't able to happen. And by the end of the day, ASU just would not let up. They ended up scoring 51 points on us. Even they just kept playing hard every single down, even to the final quarter, and it was just very unfortunate for our team.
You know, it was, as I said earlier, it was really unfortunate that our defense wasn't able to keep it up. The defense we saw between the two halves were two different teams. I mean, you and I were both there. We saw it. It was black and white. We were confident going into this game in the first half. You know, we were stopping them. We were giving our offense the ball for more time. And then in the second half, we looked very unsure. We were making mistakes that were definitely avoidable and costed us some yardage that we could have used. And by the end of the game, we were just letting ASU run all over us. I mean, you know, giving up 31 points in the second half without scoring any is devastating to our confidence, as well as it's inexcusable in my book. You know, and when it comes down to it, the fact is that Arizona was able to get inside of our heads and break our confidence, and they were able to do it within the first 11 seconds of the half.
Yeah, Ombre kept stressing that there's a lot of blown coverages after the game, and I just, it's just some of those young players that I definitely think will get better in the future. I'm really excited to see, but we're getting ready. And as far as looking ahead to USC this game, what can you expect next weekend?
I think this is going to be a really tough game for us. It's a road game on Los Angeles, and I think it's going to be our toughest game to date. The fact is USC is a real football team, and they aren't going to be giving up some points like ASU did. The fact that we're on the road and the skill level of USC is really going to put some added pressure on Colorado on both sides of the ball. And in order for it to not be a complete blowout, I think that we're going to need to see the same defense and even a better offense than we saw. If not, it's going to be hard for us to make a statement in the Pac-12.
USC's definitely going to come out on fire. They're searching for that national championship. Matt Barkley is searching for that Heisman still. They're going to have to just win us by big time. I think it's going to be a very tough game for us. Well, that's all we have today for Double Team. I'm Scott Oberto, and that's Sean Espinoza. We'll take it back to the desk.
It's easy to cheer for a team that wins all of their games.
That's right, but what about support with a losing record? SportsMag's Rose Heafy hit the campus to see whether students are choosing to stand behind the Buffs during this rough season.
It's not exactly a secret that the CU Buffs have been struggling on the football field this season, so I decided to ask students on campus whether they're holding strong for their support for the team.
I do, but not for the football team. Basketball team, I'll have a lot of spirit.
I don't think I have any school spirit. I've only been to one football game.
I definitely still have school spirit, and part of it's because, I'm the 5th generation of my family to go here.
I don't think I have. I do have a school spirit shirt somewhere.
The football team will be here every year that I'm here, so why should I not have the spirit for them?
Well, you're in college for 4 years. You may as well like the school you go to.
Just go. Cheer hard.
I think that'll pump me up when I'm done with my homework.
Ralphie. Totally Ralphie. That's the main reason why I came to the school. Run the Buffalo.
I make sure to wear black and gold, and I stay completely away from other teams' colors.
I would say seeing our team come out the tunnel.
Seeing Ozell flip all the time.
Yeah.
That's a reason to go to the games right there. Watching Ozell.
The Buffalo?
It's all about here and here.
We'll give them all of our support, even if they're not doing too good. They need it, so. I know if I was doing bad, I need someone to cheer me on.
While it may be a rebuilding year for the CU football team, it appears most fans are choosing to stick with the team through the thick and the thin. I'm Rose Heafy, CU Sports Mag.
The Colorado women's volleyball team has spent some time on the hardwood since you last saw them. To start off the first weekend of October, the Buffs hosted the Washington State Cougars. CU freshman Alexis Austin proved to be a huge Colorado entity, putting down 16 kills, while CU sophomore Kelsey English also got a hand on the ball, slamming 13 to the floor. The Buffs also had a strong match on the defensive side of the ball. Freshman Chelsea Keoho had 12 digs, helping Colorado put 45 balls up compared to the Cougars' 29. Colorado swept this match in 3 quick sets with a score of 25-17, 25-17, and also 29-27. After a day's rest, the women headed back to the Coors Event Center to take on then number 2 Washington Huskies. The Buffs seemed to be killing the ball well throughout the match with 32 kills, but errors are what took the Buffs down in the end, with 24 errors. Colorado had a surprisingly low hitting percentage, .092. In all the sets, the Buffs fell behind early to the Huskies, but they never gave up in the fight. They battled back to keep the sets exciting against the tough Washington offense. Set scores for this match were 25-17, 25-16, and 25-22, helping the Huskies' undefeated record, making them the only NCAA team that has not lost this season. Freshman Alexis Austin led the offensive this weekend with nearly 30 kills against Washington and Washington State. Her strong play and leadership makes her this week's Athlete of the Week.
I feel like I've improved a lot in both the games. I learned a lot also, especially against University of Washington, learning how to find angles and hit around big blocks. I'm originally a middle, so coming in and learning everything about the left side is crazy. It's a lot more to learn. But it's been fun, and I really like it out there. So I think the team, we really improved kind of as a whole, and really showed we don't have anything to lose. Almost like we know they're the number 1, 2 team in the country, but hey, we can play with them, and we've also seen like things we have never seen before, like as we're playing, and also like things that we need to work on. Just keep working hard and not like letting it get to you. Like it's a learning process for all of us. We're a very young team, so it's pretty good. So, hello, I'm Alexis Austin. I'm CU Sports Mag Athlete of the Week.
The CU women's soccer team has yet to win in the Pac-12 games this year. The Buffs took on California and led the first half, but California scored a goal in overtime, winning 3-2. The Buffs grabbed a 2-0 lead in the first 15 minutes, but California came back with a vengeance to dominate scoring in the remainder of the games. It was a heartbreaking loss for CU women's soccer against defending national champion Stanford Sunday. The Buffs scored first in the final minute before halftime with a header by freshman Emily Paxton, her second goal of the season. Stanford scored the tying goal in the 79th minute of the game, followed by their winning shot with just 37 seconds later. Let's see what the players had to say at the end of the game.
We're real confident, we're real excited. We knew we had to go 45 minutes and go as hard as we can. It's unfortunate we didn't get it. It was a great ball in by Shea. We did good at working to get the ball in there. It was real exciting at the time. We knew there was a lot of time left, so it just makes us want to work harder.
Hats off to our defense. Stanford's opportunities were few and far between, and we did a good job. We didn't let them get very many shots off. We didn't give them great opportunities, and they were just able to finish theirs. I'm just really proud of our team.
CU will play Oregon State at noon on Saturday, and the first 500 fans will receive a free CU Soccer Rally towel as part of Fan Appreciation Day.
After the break, a CU assistant coach is making waves in Australia.
Also, the men's basketball team made an impression, but not with their basketball skills. Up next.
CU students who join the Peace Corps are usually very adventurous people, very outdoorsy. They usually are very caring, very passionate people.
For the second year in a row, CU Boulder has outproduced all other universities in the nation, both big and small, in the number of alumni who are serving as Peace Corps volunteers. That's a very, very important thing for us.
The Peace Corps continues to be the gold standard for international volunteer service. It's Americans making a difference around the world, and many of those Americans have come from this great university.
I'm not sure if it's a beautiful setting or the mountains or the weather, but one thing's for sure, there's a special civic pride on this campus.
The great spirit of volunteerism here on campus and internationalism that you find here really just kind of brings Peace Corps out a little more than it does on other campuses, I think.
You should be very proud to come from a campus that inspires so much public service and collectively works to build a better world.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Good nutrition can lead to great things. Find out how a healthy lifestyle can help your child succeed.
Inspiration can come from the most surprising of places, and on the football team, it comes from the sideline. Sports Mag's Megan Thompson reports how a student athletic trainer motivates the football team.
Usually people find their heroes on the field, but sometimes it takes looking to the sidelines to find the true inspiration.
Well, I was born without my left arm. The doctors don't really know why. I just kind of showed up and nobody really knew what happened.
Amanda Aguero is a sophomore at CU. She's also a student trainer for the football team, but above all else, she's a young lady with more determination and faith to succeed in life.
I just love being challenged and trying to overcome that challenge.
Amanda doesn't let everyday tasks stand in her way, and with the support of her parents, she always figures out how to succeed.
Their constant encouragement, you can do this, you can figure this out.
Their encouragement has helped her conquer the music world, the sports world, and also the sports training world.
It was pretty hard. I started basketball in 6th grade, and I didn't ever make the team until my junior year in high school.
Amanda looked up to her coaches. They let her be her.
They gave me free rein, you try to figure this out, and I spent a lot of nights praying, God, please help me to find an easier way to shoot and dribble.
She's now figuring out the athletic training world. She can do everything other trainers can, she just has to do it differently.
Ever since fall football camp was holding the rack of Gatorade. And it's hard because it's you have to be able to hand it to the players and take it from the players. And luckily, the Gatorade racks are just enough clearance so I could just slip it on in there.
I'm not sure how Amanda does all that she does with just one arm. I can barely pull myself together with two. One thing is for sure, these players, they love her. They respect her, and they also look up to her.
Our quarterback coach said when the first time we were coming out here, she said, man, that girl's inspirational. The wins and losses, it doesn't matter as much as having that great attitude coming out here.
The players look up to her, and she looks to Paralympics for her inspiration.
It's just so inspiring, just that these people, they're born in the same situation or even a more severe situation as me. And it's just that they're not letting anything hold them back.
To Amanda, impossible is nothing, and she says through God, all things are possible.
Trust God in every aspect, because what's impossible to you is totally, completely possible for Him.
Amanda is looked up to for many things, but she has a deeper desire.
I want to be Jesus with skin on Him. I want people to look at me and I just want to point people towards Jesus.
She wants to live her life for Jesus. So the next time you're faced with the challenge, look to the sidelines where Amanda stands at every home game. Remember, you can do it. You just have to find your own way. Inspiring words from a great person with a tremendous story. Amanda Aguero truly has the heart of a buffalo. Megan Thompson, CU Sports Mag.
The women's lacrosse team has yet to have their first season at CU. The team may not be playing, but the Buffs' future assistant head coach is Hannah Nielsen. Nielsen, regarded as one of the best players in the world, will be representing the Australian national team. She will be playing for the U.S. team this Sunday, or against the U.S. team this Sunday in the 11th U.S. Lacrosse Stars and Stripes event. Nielsen played for Northwestern University, where she helped lead the team to 2 national championships. The games will air live on ESPN3.com.
The basketball season hasn't quite started yet, so the men's team has been keeping busy with some dance moves. The team made a music video to the viral video hit Gangnam Style by Psy. Jeremy Adams took the role of Korean pop singer as the team danced on the court. They showed off their own unique flair as well as the famous invisible horse dance move. The full video is available online at Buffs TV YouTube channel, and we highly recommend that you check it out.
Now's the moment you've all been waiting for. Are you one of CU Sports Mag's Twitter followers of the week? Well, unless you starred in the CU men's basketball Gangnam Style dance video, then unfortunately you are not. We'd like to give a shout out to a few of the brave souls who took on the infamous music video. The star of the dance-off, Jeremy Adams, really brought the energy, and it was nice to see him suited up for something other than a jersey. Follow him at Germinator13. Also follow hip-shaking freshman Wesley Gordon at Mr_Tropicana_. And Xavier Johnson at X the Creator. It sounds like they're all really trying to build their brands. Don't forget to follow us at CU Sports Mag.
To see these CU basketball characters in person, be sure to attend the first annual Buff Madness event at Coors Event Center on Friday. This preseason practice will include a scrimmage of both the men's and women's basketball teams, a 3-point shootout, and prizes for the fans. The festivities will begin directly after Colorado versus Arizona State, the volleyball match. So it's recommended that fans come to the match in order to have a seat. The match begins at 7 o'clock, so come out and support your Colorado Buffaloes.
Well, don't change the channel just yet. We have the answer to that trivia question.
That's right, and we'll let you know what to expect with your weather as you get ready for the weekend.
won 24 NCAA championships, sent 18 NASA astronauts into space, inspired 4 Nobel laureates, unlocked the genetic secrets of cancer in a place that averages over 300 days of sunshine a year, ranks as America's smartest and healthiest city, and is home to the mightiest mascot in college sports. If you didn't know what the University of Colorado is all about, now you do.
This house was almost saved from a fire that was almost put out by neighbors who almost volunteered. As generous a nation as we are, sometimes instead of giving, we almost give. But almost giving is the same as not giving at all.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're going to beat them and bust them. Beat them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little bit rowdy. R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a
One
dad
more
today.
time. Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys.
The Red Hot CU golf team cooled off big time this week at the Pac-12 Fall Preview in Oregon. The team finished last overall for the first time since 2005 and shot an out-of-character 13 over par as a team. Senior Jason Burst-In led the Buffs for the 4th time this season, but was unable to make a dent in the standings, finishing 26th overall. Sophomore David O'Ray finished with a score of 1 under par, but was also unable to crack the leaderboard because of his second-round struggle. Next up for the Buffs is Ulster Mackenzie Invitational next week in California.
It's finally time to get to the answer to that trivia question, but first let's remind you of what the question was. Before last night's game, when was the last time CU hosted a Thursday night primetime game on ESPN? And the answer is September 18th of 2008 when CU upset the 21st ranked West Virginia Mountaineers in overtime. I'd be happy just beating anyone at this point.
Well, fall is finally here, and so are those cooler temperatures.
Yeah, and Alexis Perry has all you need to know about the weather.
Hello everyone, I'm Alexis Perry for this week's edition of Sports Mag Weather. If you were out at the CU versus Arizona State football game, you may have noticed that the weather has definitely changed here in Boulder, and man, it sure does feel like fall. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 4-day forecast. Today in Boulder, we had a high of 57 degrees, a little bit chillier than normal, but still gorgeous. On Saturday, you may see a couple raindrops here and there, but we'll have a high of 63 degrees. On Sunday, it'll be absolutely gorgeous with a high of 66, beautiful and sunny out. And on Monday, be sure to leave your gloves and that hat at home because you will not be needing them with a high of 75 degrees here in Boulder. If you're a die-hard Broncos fan and you're planning on heading out to the Denver Broncos game in San Diego, California, we'll have a high of 78 degrees at 6:30. Kickoff will be at 6:30 actually. And also if you're planning on staying in California to watch your Colorado Buffaloes take on the USC Trojans at Memorial Coliseum, kickoff will be at 4 p.m. We'll have a high of 79 degrees. So hopefully your Buffs can pull off a serious upset against Matt Barkley and the Trojans. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Alexis. I know I'm excited for those cooler temperatures.
Well, and I'm very excited for Buff Madness tonight.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be an exciting event. That's all the time we have for this show.
Have a great day.